Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Well, it was a hard game yesterday. Chris Boyd manages to have a meltdown as normal when it comes to the Celtic game, saying that Nicholas Kuhn should have been sent off. Yeah, saying that Nico Kuhn should have been sent off after he celebrated goal. And you've got to remember that the Ross County stand is around about 4 feet for the touchline. So it's kind of hard for a player not to score, run past the goal, and not get embroiled and with players. And James McFadden said yesterday that he was right not to book the player and send them off. He says it's pretty hard when you're only 3 or 4 yards away. He says your momentum is going to take you over. But anyway, let's listen to Brendan Rodgers, because Brendan Rodgers was obviously talking after the game yesterday. And let's get his take on the game.
It wasn't very good in the first half, and you give a big credit to Ross County and their organisation. I don't think there was a lot happening either way in the game, but certainly the onus was on us with the team that has the ball to do more with it. But it was too slow, and we said that at half time. We're a team that can never look for an easy game, and it just looked a little bit ponderous and a bit slow, and then we didn't create enough. So, but second half, especially when the subs come on, we bring a new energy to the game, and like I say, we get what we deserved in the end.
I think there's a lot of questions that actually come for that comment from Brendan Rodgers. Did Brendan Rodgers pick the wrong team to start? There's a lot of question marks going over Rio Hatate this morning. People are questioning Rio Hatate, and it's another game that is been underwhelming, we'll say. But it's always a hard game. I said before, it's always a hard game up in Ross County. You need to get stuck in. Should he have played Luke McCowan from the start? Because he was fantastic when he came on. He made such a difference. And sometimes you get a hangover from international, but Brendan Rodgers knows this, and that's why he changed the team slightly. Paulo Bernardo, when he came on, does what Paulo Bernardo does. I thought Luke McCowan was maybe edged him a bit. Tell me what you think in the comments.
Show real attitude from the players after a tough midweek to a tough start to this game as well, being able to stick at it and get the result.
Well, the thing I said on the aftermath of the midweek game, that I've got absolutely 100% confidence in the resilience of this team. And resilience, whatever way you dress it up, that's all about grit and determination and fight.
It's about getting the
and
job
we have
done.
that in bucket loads. Today we had to show that, and the players did that. So it's been a really, really busy spell for us. We had 7 games now over the course of 3 competitions in 23 days, and the players have won 6 of those, and the loss was against the Champions League finalists. So I tip my hat to them. It's been a really, really good period for us, and we'll learn from again today, because the new guys coming in will see that there's no easy game.
Yeah,
and you can't look for it either. You've got to do the work, and over the course of 90 minutes we did the work and got the result.
Does this then take back to, remember during pre-season in America, and there was a Brendan Rodgers interview on Celtic TV, and Brendan Rodgers spoke about the importance of getting the players in early. Does this give Brendan Rodgers the right to then go back to the board and say, look, this is what happens when we don't get the players in early enough into pre-season? You're not getting them in. Get them in the last minute of the transfer window is all fine and dandy by getting the players in, but by getting them in, Brendan Rodgers wants to get them in earlier in the transfer and the pre-season, so that he can get them bedded into the team and knows what it really means to play for Celtic, and the expectations and the knowledge that, and the tactical awareness. Because I think yesterday, if you look how we started the games at the beginning of the season, it was quick, fast-paced, one-touch football, fantastic to watch. Yesterday, the players went back into their shell a bit, and they slowed it down, and they take 2 or 3 touches before they pass. That's not the Celtic that we've been used to over the last couple of weeks. And what are the players expecting? And it is the new players that are coming in are obviously going to get a shock to the system. Arne Engels, we've never seen such intensity in play on a weekly basis. Same with the young Alex Bailly. He's come from Spanish football, where it is a bit more relaxed and you get more time on the ball. And some of the tackles that he thinks should be a free kick, you're not going to get them in Scotland. Do we need to get the players in earlier? And does it give Brendan Rodgers the right to go to the board and say, look, when I want a player in, can we try and just speed things up a bit? We all know that we got absolutely ripped off with Adam Ida for 9 million. Let's not deny it. When Kyogo goes down injured, first game of the season, and he holds on to his shoulder, Brendan Rodgers must have just turned around and looked up to the PLC and went, told you so. And then it was funny how quickly it happened. And even Brendan Rodgers said at the time, it's amazing how quick things can happen when you want them to happen. We did get ripped off with Adam Ida for 9 million. Let's not beat about the bush. He was a £3 million to £6 million player all day long, maximum. But as soon as Kyogo gets injured, they knew that we would have to pay top dollar because we were screaming out. If we'd got that deal done and dusted earlier in the transfer window, we would never have paid 9 million for him. But it is what it is. It is what it is in Scottish football.
Well, Ross County sitting so deep and being so compact, it was always going to take something special to open them up, and it ended up being a right back who provided it with that pass for.
And with it being the right back, let's just jump over in between this, Brendan, and let's jump over to Instagram, because some of the players have been talking on Instagram, and Paulo Bernardo, obviously here, looking at the Nico Kuhn goal, and then his corner from it. And then we look at some of the other players. Where's the man of the moment? Alistair Johnston. Yes, Ali Johnston. Great end to the weekend, says Ali Johnston. And then it's all on the hips. I did say that I don't care if it comes off somebody's hip at their thigh, and up steps Ali Johnston and laughs about the fact that it comes off his butt cheek. Comes off his butt cheek and goes into the goal, which is, it's a fantastic. And the players will think it's funny and they'll joke about it. And, was it meant? Was it not meant? But it's all in the hip movement. So anyway, let's get back to Brendan Rodgers.
Winning goal.
Yeah, well, we get a bit of luck on the first one, but we had sustained pressure in there. The corner comes out, Cal gets the strike, and it obviously comes off Ali's hip. And sometimes you need those breaks. You can't score the perfect goals all the time.
Yep.
But that was then down to the intent that we had in the second half. We were starting to break through more, make more runs, sacrifice themselves more to get into good areas. And then naturally, when you play that way, then you're looking at Ross County going to tire a little bit, so the gaps start to open up. That just comes from the speed of the ball and the ball moving much quicker. Second goal was a fantastic goal, breakout on that side, sublime pass by Ali, and then what Nicholas does really, really well, because obviously we encourage a lot of square balls for low finishes, centre of the goal. But if he plays it to Kyogo, he's offside. So he stays on it, makes the right decision, has another touch, and then finishes it so well. So I felt we deserved that. We're under no pressure in the second half, but you still have to do the work.
Yep.
To break through.
Do you think that a few of the new boys were lacking the intensity that you need in a game like this in the first half? Is that something?
No. I just think it's I just think it's the collective. We were just slow all round. Progressing the game through into midfield, too slow, not enough runs into the areas that we want to get into. So then everything's in front of Ross County. Once you then start to run, we're a running team. It's a running game that we play. Once we start to do that, then the game looks different. So, but like I say, it was a fantastic win for us. Ross County have done really, really well. Started the season really well. Made it difficult for teams. For some draws, some wins. So for us, we knew we had to work really hard to get through. So it's a great start for us. 7 wins out of 7, and we can now reset over this period.
It's interesting that he says that even though that Ross County are a low-lying blocking team, everything was sitting. We weren't passive enough. We weren't aggressive enough in our play, which we all know that. But it was interesting that Brendan Rodgers has spoke about it, because sometimes your manager can, if you think back to the way that Brendan was speaking about it last season, and he was talking about the low block teams and the way that they were set up so that we couldn't get past them. He's now expecting the players to make runs in between this low-lying block that teams have against us. And the players weren't doing that, which is a bit of a change from Brendan Rodgers from last season, which is well noted, that he is expecting more from the team. And he's expecting us, I mean, we know how teams are going to set up against us, and Ross County are a prime example away from home. But he was expecting a lot more from us to get runs into the low line block, as they call it in Scottish football, which I thought was completely interesting. There's one thing for sure, that Brendan Rodgers knows that this team of players need to go right to the end of every game. And so the old mantra under the previous manager, Ange Postecoglou, says that we never stop. But ultimately, Brendan Rodgers' team never give up, and they never have done, really.
Well, it's a Celtic tradition, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's how the game is played at this club. Because if you look over the course of this week, with thousands of fans turn up in Dortmund, okay, and they've seen what they've seen, which wasn't great, but they give us still great support at the end of the game.
Yep.
And now they're having to come up here for 12 o'clock kickoff.
Yep.
So the very least you can do is run your heart out right to the very end.
Exactly.
And that's what this club's about. It's the fabric of this club. You keep going to the end.
It's been easy to follow.
A fair play to Brendan, because Brendan knows, and the players know, because they see the guys in the stadium. And there's a lot of the same guys that were in Dortmund. The majority of them were at that game yesterday, and that's what I mean about the Celtic fan base. I mean, they do spend fantastic amounts of money. I mean, I know guys, my Facebook shows me it, and the other guys that were in Germany were up in Dingwall, and it's hats off to those guys, because I know how much money they're spending on a weekly basis to follow Celtic, and it's only right that Brendan and the players acknowledge, and especially in this day and age when money can be a bit tight for everyone.
Not so much fall out yourself, or just feel sorry for yourself and think it's not happening and chuck it.
Aye, well that's it. Well, I said that at half time. Well, either looking for an easy game, or you're feeling sorry for yourself. But whatever way it is, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
We have to go and impose our way of playing and get the energy back into the game again. And then obviously second half we were much better.
Were you worried that Kuhn could then get sent off at a second yellow when he went to the crowd to celebrate?
No.
No.
Never thought
He
of
seemed
it.
to get, I think he seemed to get dragged away pretty sharpish.
I don't know.
No.
I never noticed it.
We
Just
noticed it
considered aye. Oh, was it aye?
That's 14 goal contributions this season for Nicholas Kuhn. Did you expect him to have this good a start to the season? I know he came in January, but he's had an electric start to the season, hasn't he?
Nah, he's been absolutely brilliant. I think his fitness, he's looking more robust now, which is important. You know, churning out the games, looks a real threat for us. So yeah, you always hope and you want them to settle, but yeah, he's contributing in a big way, and that's what you need your wingers to do. They need to create goals and score goals, but also do the dirty side of the game, and he's doing it really, really well.
He is doing it really well, and Nico Kuhn's one of the players. I mean, when it comes to the tail end of the season, there's no early predictions. I mean, I made a prediction last year that Liam Scales would be up there with Player of the Year, Most Improved Player of the Year. The one and only Matt O'Reilly ran away with Player of the Year because he was just fantastic last year. But there's no early indication, maybe Dyson Maida for the running he does, the goals that he scored, or will it be Nico Kuhn? Will Nico Kuhn be the most improved player this season at Celtic? Anyway, Celtic do sit top of the league, looking down on Aberdeen, who are currently sitting on 21 points. Celtic have a goal difference of 21 goals. Aberdeen have a goal difference of 9. Closely followed by goals only, and not by points, by the Sevco. They're currently on 8 goals, plus 8 goals. But they're sitting on 16 points in the table, and then it goes down to Motherwell in 4th position, who are on 13 points. Dundee United, who are on 12, St Mirren, who are on 8, and then Ross County, who are on 7, and lucky Kilmarnock managed to get themselves off the second bottom of the table, which is devastating because we were all wanting Hearts and Kilmarnock to be down there and be relegated this season. Anyway, Celtic do play a game this week. Celtic go to Ireland, and that would be a fantastic event for everybody, and it'll also give Brendan Rodgers and the players that haven't been getting some game time some valuable game time, and especially the ones that aren't going away on international duty, which will be the majority of the Celtic team. That will go to Sligo Rovers, but that is on Wednesday. It is an 8:30 kickoff, or is it a 7:30 kickoff for the UK? I'm not too sure about that yet. I'll check it. Anyway, it is on. We'll be covering that. It should be a fantastic event for everyone involved, and a nice little trip back to Ireland, which is always good for the Celtic family. Anyway, Alistair Johnston comes off his ass and goes into the goal. The one and only Meltdown man himself, Chris Boyd, had a little bit of a meltdown on the telly because should have been sent off. He ran into the crowd. Come on, even the goalkeeper farts and the crowd can hear it. They're that close to it. Anyway, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.